Hello and welcome to this interesting webinar on SIFs, a road to future-proofing the MFD profession, powered by the Wealth Company. Friends, the Wealth Company is one of the biggest name in the AIF industry. In fact, the company manages AUM of 4,000 crore in Category 2 AIF. Madhu Lunawat is the MD of the company. Interestingly, the company has received in-principle approval from SEBI to launch MF business. नाउ कमिंग टू द टॉपिक दोस्तों सेबी ने एक नया एसेट क्लास रिसेंटली लॉन्च किया जिसका नाम है स्पेशलाइज्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स जिसको हम एसआईएफ के भी नाम पे जानते हैं एसआईएफ इज समवेयर बिटवीन म्यूचुअल फंड्स पीएमएस एंड एआईएफ हियर एएमसीज कैन लॉन्च लॉन्ग शॉर्ट फंड और मिनिमम टिकट साइज जो है इसका 10 लाख रुपए के आसपास है एमएफडीज कैन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट एसआईएफ बाय क्लियरिंग एनआईएसएम सीरीज 13 एग्जाम बट क्या हम इस एसआईएफ के लिए प्रिपेयर हैं आपके लिए एसआईएफ में क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं और कैसे आप अपना बिजनेस बढ़ा सकते हैं एसआईएफ के थ्रू तो इन सवालों का जवाब देने के लिए हमारे बीच हैं इंडस्ट्री के दो बड़े दिग्गज देवशीष मोहंती चीफ स्ट्रैटेजी ऑफिसर द वेल्थ कंपनी एंड कृष्ण शर्मा इन्वेस्टमेंट कोच की नोट स्पीकर एंड फाउंडर ऑफ ओसेट नॉलेज सो वेलकम टू द शो देवशीष जी एंड कृष्ण जी
Thank you. Thank you, Well Company. Thank you, Rishanji, for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to connect with our friends, MFDs. Yeah.
तो देवशीष जी को आप सभी जानते हैं इनको 35 सालों से ज़्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस है म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री में इन्होंने बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले किया इंडस्ट्री को बहुत बड़ा बनाने के लिए वहीं कृष्ण जी को भी लगभग 30 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है जिसमें उन्होंने 15 ईयर्स स्पेंड किया इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन डेवलपमेंट में तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा इन दोनों से आज बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा हमें तो आई स्टार्ट द सेशन बाय विथ देवशीष Devashish ji, SEBI has recently allowed fund houses to launch specialized investment funds. So how do you think this will shape the future of investment management industry in India?
Okay, before answering your query, I think first of all, thank you to you and Cafe Mutual and my mutual fund friends, which have been in connection with them for last 35, 37, 40 years. Here I represent the Wealth Company, which has a clear intent of helping our MFD friends in achieving their professional excellence by making available and creating awareness about the changes in products, processes, regulatory developments, and our initiatives like this, like series of webinars are proof of that. And I would say that this is not all. Bigger and better opportunities of creating knowledge platform for our MFD friends are coming. They may watch out. We will soon announce more longer training programs for them. Today's topic is Indian in the Indian capital market. SEBI has come out with this SIF, and we're calling it as a way to future-proof MFD's profession. Okay, so the capital market in India itself is maturing. Okay, there has been a surge in the awareness level, the income level, the aspiration level, the complexity level of the product, and the regulatory tightness. Everything is increasing. And if you see at one hand at the bottom of pyramid, the people with low income are moving ahead through and getting the benefit of the capital market and the financial market through financialization and formalization. Middle income class are getting the benefits of capital market through democratization of process, mainly helped by mutual funds. And affluence level is increasing everywhere. Okay, at this point of time, the risk appetite is increasing, the need for getting advanced products is increasing. Regulators at this point of time observe that less regulated or unregulated entities with the newer investment products are targeting this segment. So SIF is a thought process or an outcome of SEBI's preparedness for bridging the gap of these two segment MFs and the higher class alternative investment funds and PMS. And why so? So this will provide a safer, a regulated and innovative product platform, and they can use it under the regulatory umbrella of the mutual funds, which is already established and very robust. This can leverage the existing compliance structure, the governance structure, and most important, the distribution platform can be used to promote this segment. Is there any policy requirement or any other help it will do? A lot of help it will do. I can see one help is it will also provide little bit of market stability. When a lot of money are coming only on long and hold investment platforms like SIP and mutual funds, and it is changing the available good products, sometimes there was fear of a bubble being built. When there will be multiple strategies being played out, will be playing out, and hence there will be people with higher risk can also take care of other products, then maybe market also will get a deeper depth and breadth, and that is required for risk management. So I think why SIF, how will people benefit out of that? It bridges the gap between the MF and these things. It's an innovative product, and it provides. I think these complexities will give rise to competition, better productivity, and more better products can come up. So overall, capital market quality will improve.
ब्यूटीफुली आंसर्ड देवाशीष जी. आई थिंक कृष्ण शर्मा का आपने काम आसान कर दिया बहुत हद तक. कृष्ण जी, सो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है.
Right.
तो लाइफ तो अच्छा चल रहा है डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स का म्यूचुअल फंड के थ्रू. एसआईपी बुक बढ़ रहा है, बिजनेस अच्छा कर रहा है, म्यूचुअल फंड भी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. तो ऐसे में क्यों आपको लगता है कि उनको अपना लाइफ कॉम्प्लिकेट करना चाहिए और एसआईएफ की तरफ जाना चाहिए?
निशान जी, मैं इस बात से सहमत नहीं हूं कि एमएफडीज का लाइफ अच्छा चल रहा है. एमएफडीज का लाइफ अच्छा इसलिए चल रहा है कि उनका काम बढ़ रहा है, पर काम को चुनौतियां बढ़ रही है. मैं देख रहा था कि उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है टू टोटल टोटल एमएफ बिजनेस, चाहे वो न्यू एसआईपीज हो या लमसम इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हो या नेट सेल्स हो, वो लगातार कम हो रहा है. इनफैक्ट इन एसआईपी नंबर्स, एसआईपी काउंट्स की अगर मैं बात करता हूं, मैंने देखा है कि उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है दैट इज फॉलन बिलो 14%, विच यूज्ड टू बी 38% 10 years 15 years ago. तो म्यूचुअल फंड्स एमएफडीज का काम बढ़ रहा है, पर एज ए होल उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है एमएफ इंडस्ट्री को, वो कम हो रहा है. तो हमें उसमें थोड़ा ध्यान देना होगा. हम सभी एमएफडीज को ध्यान से मिलकर समझना होगा कि हमें क्या ध्यान रखना, और ऐसे में एसआईएफ जो आया है उनके लिए एक वरदान का काम कर सकता है. लैंडस्केप क्या है, जो लैंडस्केप है उसे समझना बहुत जरूरी है. और मैं एक इशारा करूंगा निशान जी, उस बात को समझने की बहुत जरूरत है. मेरी वाइफ गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय है. वो 2005 में उनकी नौकरी लगी थी. 2006 जनवरी से हमने उनकी एसआईपी शुरू की थी, और पिछले 15 साल से मेरी वाइफ कभी भी मुझे परेशान नहीं करती थी. लेकिन अब मुझे, आप जानते हो, थोड़ा परेशान करने लगी है. और क्यों करने लगी है समझिएगा. अब तक वो करोड़पति नहीं थी, अब वो करोड़पति हो गई है. आप मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? जितने भी सीजनड एमएफडीज हैं, जो एमएफडीज 15 साल से 20 साल से काम कर रहे हैं, उनका जीवन बदलने वाला है. पहली बार उन्होंने करोड़पति बनाया है. जो इन्वेस्टर्स 15 साल पहले उनके पास आए थे, 20 साल पहले आए थे, वो करोड़पति नहीं थे. आज वो करोड़पति हैं. और जब आदमी करोड़पति होता है ना निशान जी, वो 99 के फेर में हो जाता है. ये मैंने अपनी पत्नी से समझा है. उसने मुझे कभी नहीं बोला कि मेरा पैसा कैसा कर रहा है, पर जैसे ही वो करोड़ को पार कर गई, अब वो चाहती है कि पैसा बढ़ता भी रहे और करोड़ के नीचे भी नहीं आए. आप मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? अभी तक वो वेल्थ क्रिएशन मोड में थी, अब वो वेल्थ क्रिएशन चाहती हैं और प्रोटेक्शन भी चाहती हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास साइजेबल किटी हो गई है. उन्होंने एक थ्रेशोल्ड को पार कर लिया है, और ये एमएफडी को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. अब उसके बच्चे भी बड़े हो गए हैं, और जो बेटा है वो भी बाजार को समझता है, और वो माँ के साथ डिस्कस करता है कि उसका इन्वेस्टमेंट कैसा कर रहा है. तो एमएफडी को न केवल मेरी पत्नी जैसे एक सीजन इन्वेस्टर को डील करना है जो करोड़पति हो गया है, प्लस उसके बच्चे जो उनको ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, जो अलग ही मूड में आते हैं, उनको भी डील करना है. और ऐसे में मुझे लगता है कि जो चैलेंजिंग लैंडस्केप जो बदल रहा है उनके लिए बहुत चैलेंजिंग है, और एसआईएफ उनको बड़ी मदद कर सकता है. ये मेरे इनिशियल विचार हैं एमएफडीज के लिए. तो एमएफडीज को क्या करना है, एसआईएफ को कैसे यूज करना है, वो अपना इन्फ्लुएंस है वैल्यू एडिशन को कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं, ये बात हमें समझनी बहुत जरूरी है.
Great point, Kishan ji. So, Debashish ji, coming back to you. So, what are some opportunities do SIF offers to MFDs according to you?
Obviously, I'll deal on that, and just taking further clue from what किशन जी जो बोले हैं कि इसको थोड़ा और हमने हमारा एमएफडी भाइयों को बताना चाहता हूँ SIF जो है ये मिड टायर प्रोडक्ट जो नया सेबी ने लाया है, हमने एक एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ। हमारा लास्ट वेबिनार में हम लोग स्टोरी टेलिंग के बारे में बोले थे, नहीं थे। सो तो ये जैसे आप देखे होंगे कि विस्तारा या एयर इंडिया में एक प्रीमियम इकोनॉमी क्लास है, एक बिजनेस क्लास है और इकोनॉमी एक प्रीमियर इकोनॉमी। तो लोगों को जैसे कि मिसेस कृष्ण अभी उभर के आ रहे हैं कि दे आर नाउ मोर रिच, दे आर HNIs and they wanted to test higher return products. So सेबी ने एक ऐसे गाइडेड रिस्क एक्सपोजर, रेगुलेटेड एक्सपोजर टू रिस्क टाइप ऑफ करके नया प्रोडक्ट का टेस्ट लेने का मौका दिया है, जो कि SIF. ओके, सो यू कैन टेल दैट I was drawing parallel to this thing between MA and MA's PhD degree. There is an MPhil degree, little bit of research, little bit of study mix. Between petrol car and fully EV car, there is one hybrid car. So this SIF will give you the regulatory framework of MF while exposing you to newer advanced strategies, quants and long certs and opportunity credit opportunities and all such things where more return is possible. And as it is, people's risk appetite is also increasing. People are going for cricket gaming and showing that in social media, but while expressing that with their risk averse in the mutual fund thing. So this benefit that will, the opportunity that the MFTs will get, number one is paisa, a new revenue stream. So this opportunity has to be captured because number one, the pricing also will be different. I'm not going into that, but a segment जो कि हाथ से निकल ना जाए, the next generation, the DINK, double income, no kids, the high aspiration people who are seeking a high rate of return for their compounding because their goal is costly, goal is high. सो ये सारे लोगों का जो पैसा वो AIF या PMS या सेल्फ ड्रिवन कोई डेरिवेटिव प्रोडक्ट में जाएगा, इससे अच्छा उनको हमने खुद तैयार करके SIF में ली. So in new revenue stream is the biggest opportunity capturing. Second thing is your client base can be expanded, your wallet share can be deepened. So MFDs will get to handle larger and more complex portfolios. So client retention का भी ये एक टूल है. और सबसे बड़ा मैटर है, जैसे कि किशन जी बोले, the MFDs can upgrade professionally and say that now we are handling HNIs, super HNIs, and they can handle any other product. This is a stepping stone. These are the benefits I can see for the MFDs opportunities.
Great. सो कृष्ण जी, आप दोनों ने ही अपॉर्चुनिटीज को अच्छे से हाईलाइट किया, लेकिन क्या रिस्क हो सकता है SIF में डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स के लिए और इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए?
Yeah. I will take 2 more minutes, Nishanji. I'll come to risk, but I think this is a very big opportunity, very zabardast development for the MFD, my MFD friends, SIF, and I want to will touch upon that because something which meets the eye, but sometimes you have to read between the lines. So why exactly SEBI has done this? We have known reasons, which SEBI also has narrated in the circular that why they have come with this to bridge the gap between the mutual fund and PMS. But there is something we need to understand. Be it US, be it India, one thing is clear. Their Securities Exchange Commission in US, regulator there and regulator here in India, SEBI, they all want that common people, retailers, HNIs, all these people should come to equity markets, should come to capital markets with the help of experts, because this world is a VUCA world. This world is a complex world. It's a very difficult for a common person, even rich, poor, middle class, whatever class you are in. It's difficult to understand the complexities of the markets, the volatility of the markets, the up down of this VUCA economy. It's very difficult. And they all want, we should come with the experts. What exactly is happening in India is very different. Dishanji, Indians are in a hurry to create wealth. Elites hurry in the create wealth. If you look at the landscape of India, you will understand what SIF can do. I will not be wrong if I say SIF perhaps may become a UPI movement of India in investing. UPI has taken digital money to every house in India. SIF will take it to every investor, any good investor in India. And why it will be? I just want to share 2 or 3 slides with you. What exactly is happening in India? Allow me to share the slides.
Okay.
And then
Go ahead.
yeah. Is it visible? I have shared. Then
I
a
can see
screen.
that you started your screen. Double click to enter the full screen.
Make presentation mode.
Okay. Now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. See, very simple. First, we have to understand what's it's a wake up call for MFDs. Why I say it's a wake up call for MFDs because MFDs have become old. They have started business say 25, 30, 40 years ago or 15, 20 years ago. Investors has become new. Why investors have become new? Because every 50 years old in India today, which has created a crore of rupees or more than that, is become a HNI, is supported by his kids. उनकी उम्र क्या है? उनकी उम्र है 20 साल, 22 साल, 25 साल, और वो टेक में बहुत होशियार है, और वो अपने आप को अपने माँ बाप से ज्यादा होशियार समझते हैं. आपने भी ऐसा महसूस किया होगा, राइट? उनका इन्फ्लुएंस अपने पेरेंट्स पे बढ़ता जा रहा है. और ये जो नए बच्चे हिंदुस्तान में आए, जो पर्टिकुलरली पोस्ट कोविड के बाद जिन्होंने हमें ज्वाइन किया है, इनका रिस्क टॉलरेंस इज डिफरेंट, इनका रिस्क एपिटाइट इज डिफरेंट, इनके रिस्क विलिंगनेस इज डिफरेंट. And this is what we have to understand, and we have to connect how SIF can help us. तो मैं इस पे थोड़ा सा बात करना चाहता हूँ, what exactly is happening in India. आप देखिए निशान जी, this is India's landscape. India's financial assets अगर मैं बात करता हूँ इंडिया में इस वक्त है 127 लाख करोड़. फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स कौन से? सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट में. Here post office is not there, EPFO money is not there, bank deposits are not there. It's the total assets with the household in assets which are traded in सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट. ठीक है ना? तो उसमें 127 लाख करोड़ में व्हाट इज द शेयर ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड्स? जस्ट 36 lakhs, 28%. 28%.
स्लाइड हमको दिख नहीं रहा है, सिर्फ SIF ही आई कैन सी. इट्स नॉट मूविंग.
आई हैव मूव्ड इट. नहीं हो रहा है?
नहीं नहीं.
ओके, व्हाई इट इज सो?
I
आई
yes,
जस्ट, हां pardon,
I
I'll
can
share.
see the holding slide which says SIF. That's it.
I'll share again. I'll share again. Is it visible now?
It is visible
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Now you look at the household savings through Indian securities market. It's not no bank deposits, no postal savings, no LIC, nothing. Financial assets in securities market, right? Indians have 127 lakh crores. Out of 127 lakhs crores, only 36 lakhs in mutual fund, that is 28%, and 66% in direct equities, PMS, AIF, and all. Now, what does it mean? इसका मतलब क्या है? Are we have so many experts in India who can manage their money on their own? देखिए आप, 66% exposure to equities in India is on direct through PMS, AIF or direct, not through mutual funds, not through mutual funds. Now come to the second graph. It's very scary. So in 2020, if there were 4.98 demat accounts, there were unique folios 2.1. So 42% investors in India, जो कि इक्विटी में इन्वेस्टमेंट करते थे, they used to come from mutual funds. Today we have 18.53 crore accounts and we have only unique folio 4.5 crores. What does it mean? Only 24% people coming through mutual funds. सोचिए ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Less number of people. Mutual funds are growing, but market is growing more than mutual funds. Equity investors are growing more than mutual funds. With the army of MFDs, with the army of distribution, national distributors, RIAs, fintechs, this is the show. So where we are losing? We are losing somewhere. And what is that? We need to understand that. What investor wants. And exactly the thing which investor wants, Nishan ji, SIF can give us. और यही सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात है जो हमें समझने की कोशिश करनी है. Now look at the alternates. AIF. Look at the growth of AIF. AIF growth is 31.4%. This I have taken from Cafe Mutual only. You only have reported this figure some time back, right? So growth of AIF, and this in AIF also is a category 3, which mimics SIF. SIF is not PMS. PMS is very different from SIF, but SIF is very similar to AIF, right? Because in PMS, long short is not allowed, derivatives is not allowed, right? And it's very concentrated bet. SIF is almost mimics the category 3 of AIF. Now look at the popularity of AIF in India. अगर SIF आता है, ये इतना बड़ा मार्केट इंडियन MFDs को और इंडियन म्यूचुअल फंड्स को मिल सकता है. So this is the landscape. Now, what's exactly happening in India? Why we have 66% direct equity exposure in financial assets? वो हमें थोड़ा समझने की जरूरत है. And this is very interesting, निशान सर. देवाशीष सर, आप देखिए कितना, आप बताइए ये अच्छा बात है कि बुरा बात है. India's derivative to cash ratio is 400 times of cash market. What does it mean? Indians are in hurry. Indians are in a hurry to make wealth. वो डेरिवेटिव चाहता है और म्यूचुअल फंड्स ने एसआईएफ में डेरिवेटिव दिया।
किशन जी ये फिगर का साथ अगर हमने जो सेबी का फॉर्मर चेयरमैन वार्निंग दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द रिटेल डेरिवेटिव प्लेयर्स आर लूजिंग मनी, दैट मींस देयर इज ए क्लियर केस मेड आउट फॉर एसआईएफ फॉर आवर एडवाइजर्स एंड द स्पेशलाइज्ड प्रोडक्ट्स।
ये बहुत देर से आया, पहले आना चाहिए था, 5 साल पहले आना चाहिए था।
यस
राइट, इंडियंस वांट दिस। एमएफडीज को ये समझना होगा कि इंडियंस वांट दिस, उनको डरना नहीं है। एसआईएफ को पॉपुलराइज करना है। दैट्स व्हाई एसआईएफ आपका यूपीआई बना, यूपीआई मूवमेंट है इंडिया के लिए, अगर हमें थोड़ा सा बात समझ में आ गया।
वेरी वेल सेड, वेरी वेल सेड।
राइट, एंड दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। और आप देखिए ऑन इन ट्रेडिशनल म्यूचुअल फंड्स व्हाट्स हैपनिंग। ट्रेडिशनल म्यूचुअल फंड्स, निशान जी, अगर आप देखेंगे, मोर एवरी फंड हाउस इज कमिंग विद प्लेथोरा ऑफ ऑफर्स ऑन पैसिव साइड। व्हाई? आप किसी भी फंड हाउस को देखिए, जितने लॉन्चेस पैसिव साइड में हैं उतने लॉन्चेस एक्टिव साइड में नहीं है। नाउ पैसिव में भी एमएफडी का जरूरत है। आई एम अ स्ट्रॉन्ग बिलीवर कि पैसिव हो चाहे एक्टिव हो, रोल ऑफ एमएफडी रिमेन सेम। रोल ऑफ फंड मैनेजर चेंजेस, रोल ऑफ एएमसी चेंजेस, बट रोल ऑफ एमएफडी रिमेन सेम। वो वैनगार्ड तो उसको बोलता भी है लाइक एडवाइजर्स अल्फा। वैनगार्ड डजंट बिलीव इन फंड मैनेजर्स अल्फा, दे से इट्स एडवाइजर्स अल्फा। तो पैसिव एक्टिव से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। बट व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इज दिस, two slides I want to share with you. Number one, as Devashish sir has rightly said, 91% people in India, those who come to derivatives, are losing money. Why? Because they are going directly. They are doing it directly. PMS में allowed नहीं है। और AIF is 1 crore. Only very ultra HNI can go. तो अल्ट्रा एचएनआई तो बहुत कम है इंडिया में। ओनली 0.1% ऑफ पॉपुलेशन इज अल्ट्रा एचएनआई। वही लोग एआईएफ में जाएंगे, बाकी तो कोई जाएगा नहीं। तो सबको डायरेक्ट ही जाना पड़ेगा। एंड व्हेन दे गो डायरेक्टली, 91%, 92% ऑफ देम लूज मनी। एंड दिस इज व्हाट एमएफडीज एंड म्यूचुअल फंड्स पुट टुगेदर कैन चेंज इंडिया. They change the fate of Indian investors. Indian investors want, and they have lost. Look at who has gained, who has made money in derivatives. Proprietary, it means brokers have made money and foreigners have made money. If you can look at this left hand side chart, if you look at, individuals have lost heavily, right? And this SIF will be able to solve this problem of Indian investors. Then I come to the second part of it, the challenge of traditional mutual funds. Why every mutual fund is coming with the passive category. Now, if you look 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, the study of BSE and S&P, what they say that even in a 10 years period, if you look at Indian equity, mid and small cap, 88% of funds have underperformed benchmark. Underperformed benchmark. Why it is so? It is so because they are well regulated, and SEBI regulations doesn't give you full freedom to beat the markets. You have to face the total return index. You have expenses of 1.5%. आप कैसे बीट करेंगे? और आपको लगता है कि शेयर अच्छा करेगा, उस शेयर में आप 10% से ज्यादा एक्सपोजर आप ले नहीं सकते हैं। आपको इतना डाइवर्सिफाई करना है, आप लॉन्ग शॉर्ट कर नहीं सकते हैं। तो फंड मैनेजर के पास अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है। तो फंड मैनेजर को अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलना चाहिए ना, तभी तो एक्टिव है। तो ट्रेडिशनल फंड्स आर no more strictly speaking not very active. They are active within a framework of regulations. तो हमको एक फ्रीडम चाहिए जहां पर कि फंड मैनेजर्स के पास ज्यादा ताकत है कि वो आपको परफॉर्मेंस दे सकता है। तो ये 3-4 चीजें अगर मैं मिला देता हूं, एक और there is a website called PMS Bazaar. It says that by 2030 the market of PMS and AIF will become 100 lakh crores. Currently it is 18 lakh crores. This is the kind of growth they are projecting. And this is, of course, this research was prior to the launch of SIF. तो आप देखिए कि SIF के सामने कितना बड़ा ग्रोथ है, कितना बड़ा अपॉर्चुनिटी है। And this is exactly, I thought, let me share it with our MFT friends. They should understand the need of SIF and what impact SIF can bring and how Indian investors are reacting and what exactly they want. तो ये सारी चीजें एक साथ मिलके SIF हमें दे सकता है सर। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये एक ऐसा काम हो रहा है जो एमएफटी को बहुत फायदा पहुंचा सकता है, इंडस्ट्री को बहुत फायदा पहुंचा सकता है, इन्वेस्टर्स को बहुत फायदा पहुंचा सकता है, और वो इंडियन जो सभी डेरिवेटिव्स में खेलना चाहते हैं वो डेरिवेटिव में भी खेल सकते हैं। So this is finisher to all ills of India. This is what I feel.
So Krishan ji, but what are the risks related to SIFs?
This is something very funny. Funniest part is this, that people have taken it as a more risky than mutual fund. I disagree. How it can be more risky? In fact, SIF doesn't target traditional benchmark returns. SIF टारगेट्स एब्सोल्यूट रिटर्न्स। देखिए, मैं आपको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कन्वर्जेशन बताता हूं, मेरे वाइफ का बताता हूं मैं आपको। जब कोविड में उनको 38% का उनका अकाउंट में लॉस हो गया, उनका जो पोर्टफोलियो है वो 38% से डाउन हो गया, एंड शी वाज वेरी सैड, है ना। अरे, लाइफ में पहली बार शी क्रॉस दैट 8 फिगर्स, और 8 से धक्का देख के वापस 38% लॉस पे वापस फ्यू लैक्स में वो आ गई, एंड शी वाज वेरी वरीड। और वो मेरे को क्या बोलती है, अरे फंड मैनेजर तो एक्सपर्ट होता है, क्या फंड मैनेजर को नहीं मालूम है कि कोविड है और बाजार गिरेगा? वाई फंड मैनेजर इज नॉट टेकन द पोजीशन? ये सभी इन्वेस्टर्स के मन में आता है सर, ये सभी एमएफडीज के मन में आता है कि व्हाई फंड मैनेजर्स डजंट एक्ट, दे कांट एक्ट, हाउ दे विल एक्ट? उनका मैंडेट ही नहीं है, उनका मैंडेट है लॉन्ग। उनका मैंडेट ये है कि आपका पैसा तभी बनेगा जब बाजार ऊपर जाएगा। उनका मैंडेट है, आपने उनको मैंडेट ही नहीं दिया है कि बाजार नीचे जाने पर भी मेरा पैसा बनाना है, ये मैंडेट तो आपने दिया ही नहीं है। तो ट्रेडिशनल म्यूचुअल फंड तो आपका पैसा तभी बनाएगा ना जब बाजार ऊपर ही जाएगा। फंड मैनेजर को मालूम है कि बाजार गिरेगा, वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता है, कैसे करेगा बताइए वो? उसको हमने बोला है कि तुझे इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट करना है, हमने उसको ये थोड़ी बोला है कैश में इन्वेस्ट करना है। ही कैन नॉट कम टू कैश, कैसे करेगा बताइए आप निशान जी? So traditional mutual fund offer documents, objectives doesn't allow fund manager to function the way they function. They have to function within a mandate. SIF उनको ये आजादी देता है। अब अगर ट्रंप ने कहा कि मैं इंडिया के ऊपर टैरिफ लगाऊंगा, तो इंडियन फार्मा और इंडियन आईटी कंपनीज को अच्छा धंधा नहीं मिलेगा। फंड मैनेजर कैन शॉर्ट हियर एंड कैन मेक मनी फॉर यू। SIF का फंड मैनेजर अगर आपको रिटर्न नहीं देता है, तब आप शिकायत कर सकते हैं कि मार्केट गिरने पर या बढ़ने पर आपने मुझे रिटर्न क्यों नहीं दिया, बिकॉज SI फंड मैनेजर बाय नेचर, बाय मैंडेट हैज टू वर्क फॉर एब्सोल्यूट रिटर्न्स। और अगर फंड मैनेजर अच्छी तरह से काम करता है, आई टेल यू समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग निशान जी, SIF का जो शार्पे रेशियो है ना, वो अच्छा होगा ट्रेडिशनल म्यूचुअल फंड से। इन अदर वर्ड्स, फॉर ए पर यूनिट गिवन रिस्क, द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ SIF विल बी सुपीरियर कंपेयर टू ट्रेडिशनल फंड्स. So I'm ready to debate anyone who says that SIF is more risky than the traditional mutual funds. Yes, there is one risk, and that one risk is liquidity risk. And this is what we have to understand. अगर आप लिक्विडिटी रिस्क की बात करते हैं तो वो बोला है, इन्होंने भी बोला है, क्या बोलते हैं, सॉरी ये गड़बड़ हो गया, आई डोंट नो ये चार्ट कैसे गड़बड़ हो गया, देयर इज समथिंग हैपेंड विद दिस राउंड्स। सी, ट्रेडिशनल एमएफ में लिक्विडिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, आप कभी भी पैसा रोजाना निकाल सकते हैं। SIF में मैंडेट क्या होगा कि फंड हाउस तय करेगा कि आप पैसा कब निकाल सकते हैं, वीकली, फोर्टनाइटली, क्वार्टरली, है ना, 6 हाफ ईयरली और एनुअली। तो इसमें थोड़ा सा वो एक दिक्कत आएगा, बिकॉज SIF बाय नेचर इज मोर लॉन्ग टर्म कंपेयर टू दी, although they are using derivatives, although they are using long short strategies, but normally strategies are made for a long term performance rather than a short term day to day performance. तो वो भी एक अच्छी बात है जो कि SIF को एक डिफरेंट बनाती है।
Great insights, Krishan ji. So Devashish, coming back to you. So who is the ideal client segment for SIF? तो एक इसमें और मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ कि मान लीजिए कि मेरे पास कोई क्लाइंट आता है 10 लाख रुपए लेके, शुड आई रिकमेंड हिम SIF?
Okay, so yeah, so 10 lakh रुपया लेके आता है, और whether you can recommend, that is not a straight answer, that require other questions to be answered. But who is a client ideal for this segment? नंबर वन इज, सिंस आप म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के पास बहुत पुराना कस्टमर्स भी है, रिच कस्टमर्स है, न्यू रिच है, बहुत बड़ा अमीर कस्टमर है। फर्स्ट थिंग इज इवॉल्व्ड म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टर्स, जो कि 7-10 साल से आपका साथ है, 5 साल से उस मार्केट का साइकिल्स देख चुके हैं। दे आर द फिटेस्ट कैंडिडेट। फर्स्ट यू हैव टू टारगेट देम इफ दे हैव मोर देन 10 lakhs टिकट साइज मनी। in many mutual fund investors you will find with you जो कि उनका टिकट साइज का बहुत ऊपर का पैसा है, they can divert some of this thing to this segment, and लोग जिसका आपका हिसाब से जो रिस्क मेजर करते हैं, आप रिस्क असेसमेंट करते हैं एपेटाइट का, वो अगर मॉडरेट रिस्क ले सकते हैं या अग्रेसिव रिस्क ले सकते हैं और ये गेन उसका बदला में पा सकते हैं, तो उन लोगों को टारगेट कर सकते हैं। There will be customer who are goal-based clients, and they are seeking consistency and low volatility while pursuing higher financial goal that can be fulfilled with a higher return of compounding. They can be brought in. And HNIs and ultra HNIs, people having more money, you know, in your overall ticket size, you know that what is their overall purpose, you can target them. And the second question is, somebody is coming with just 10 lakhs rupees in mutual funds also he can invest. What is the suitability for him, that need to be tested, and that need to be assessed by asking other questions. What is the need of this investment, goal kya hai, kitna din ke liye rakhenge, or if is for the first time is coming, let him come to mutual fund. We are not deselling mutual fund at any way. Mutual funds will grow and will spread the in past investment, and people who are aware, evolved, can come to the SIF. Okay.
Great response. Vishenji, Devashish ji has said that MFD should look at the existing client base first. So,
Yes.
but how can they identify that an existing client has matured or graduated to be
Yeah.
ready for the SIF?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So again, I'll use a slide to understand this. A very simple thing, Nishanji. Two, three things. The first thing is psychological. Money is a emotional thing. Money is not something which is abstract or doesn't have emotion or rational thing. With money, we have emotions. And as you grow, and as you create wealth, when you become a crorepati, a very different person. So MFD also has to change. The challenge is investors sometimes can outgrow MFD. That's the biggest problem, right? And that investor which is outgrown, right? You have to understand his psychological changes, the behavioral changes which is happening. The first and the foremost behavioral change, Nishanji, is this. Humans are also like animals. Why we are like animals? Because we are raised in jungles. We are Homo sapiens in this world for last 3 lakh years. And the first village which was built in world was 7,000 years ago or 8,000 years ago. It means that 2,90,000 years we have lived in jungles. What is the name of rule of jungle? The rule of jungle is you have to survive. And who survives? Who performs better than others? And this is very interesting. अगर हिरण को जिंदा रहना है तो शेर से तेज भागना है. अगर शेर से तेज नहीं भागेगा तो शेर मार देगा. अगर शेर को जिंदा रहना है तो हिरण से तेज भागना है, नहीं तो भूखे मर जाएगा. So ये हमारे दिमाग में वी आर हार्ड वायर्ड. व्हाट इज हार्ड वायर्ड? व्हाई वी आर हार्ड वायर्ड? हमें कभी भी ज्यादा कमाना अच्छा नहीं लगता है. हमें हमेशा दूसरे से ज्यादा कमाना अच्छा लगता है, right? And we have to understand this basic need of humans. MFDs has to address this need, and SIF addresses this need. जैसे जैसे आपके पास पैसा ज्यादा आता है ना, आपके अंदर दो बातें आती है. मुझे पैसा बचाना भी है, पैसा बढ़ाना भी है, और दूसरे से ज्यादा पैसा बढ़ाना है. And there you have to make strategies. And there it comes structured products. So SIF is a kind of structured products. और SIF में एक और मजेदार चीज है, it gives a control to investors also. उसको लगता है वो भी फंड मैनेजर है, because he has to decide so many things. Shanji, I forgot to mention, you wanted to understand the risk of SIF. Rather, I see SIF is a very safe product in a sense that it diversifies. You know how it diversifies? SAB has approved 7 categories, 3 in equities, 2 in debt, and 2 in hybrid. A mutual fund, one mutual fund and one AMC can launch all these 7 categories. You know, you don't have to put 10 lakhs in each.
Yeah, divide.
10 lakhs in 7. You can do entire asset allocation. Entire asset allocation. So with 1.7, 1.8 lakhs in each and every category, you have debt also, you have hybrid also, and you have to equity also, and you have long also, and you have short also. What else you want? You have commodities also. You have RVITs also, InVITs also. Where you will get this kind of diversification? I think it gives you the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Right? So how you know that that your investor has graduated? We need to understand 2-3 things for that. What happens when investor grows wealthy? What happens behind their brain? We have to understand this. See, below 1 crore, they want to grow their money fast. After 1 crore, they want to preserve and they want to grow. Both they want. We call it, हिंदी में हम उसको बोलते हैं 99 का फेयर. 99 का फेयर. एक आदमी है, उसको आप 99 lakhs दीजिए. दूसरा आदमी है, उसको आप 80 lakhs दीजिए. जो 80 lakhs वाला है ना, वो बहुत खुश होगा कि I got 80 lakhs from you. जिसको आप 99 देंगे ना, वो खुश नहीं होगा. वो दुखी होगा कि आपने 1 लाख कम क्यों दिया, क्योंकि उसको करोड़ चाहिए. इज एंकर्ड विद करोड़, राइट? तो इसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं 99 का फेयर. किसको दुखी करना है ना, गिव हिम 99, right? He will not be happy, right? So once you cross 1 crore, now you don't want to come back to 7 figures. From 8 figures, you don't want to come to 7 figures, and that changes you. So what they want, suddenly things changes. Suddenly it changes suddenly, and they become performance conscious, very conscious. अगर आपने किसी की SIP की है, वो चुपचाप बैठा रहेगा, लेकिन जिस दिन करोड़पति बन जाएगा ना, उस दिन वो कॉन्शियस हो जाएगा. मोमेंट वो कॉन्शियस होता है ना, देयर इज अ न्यू रोल फॉर MFDs and their SIF fits in. So you have to find out, जो आपने सवाल पूछा कि how you will come to know what are the trigger points. So these are the 6 trigger points which you have to understand that the investor has graduated to the next level. The first is wealth threshold is achieved. There is a threshold of wealth. Below that, you should not give SIF. It's very simple. A person with a, say, total assets of 10, 15, 20, 30 lakhs, you should not recommend SIF to them, right? Because they are in a wealth creation stage or wealth building stage. Once you create 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crores kind of amounts you have, and these are the people who crave for additional returns, and they start searching for PMS, AIF and all. And these are the people who are chased by bankers. आपके पास कम पैसा है तो बैंकर्स आपको चेज नहीं करते हैं, वेल्थ PMS वाले आपको चेज नहीं करते हैं. तो जिनको चेज कर रहे हैं वो एक थ्रेशोल्ड के बाद ही चेज करते हैं. बिहेवियरल शिफ्ट फ्रॉम रिटर्न चेजर्स टू रिस्क कंट्रोलर. सी SIF इज पर्टिकुलरली रिस्क कंट्रोलर है, क्योंकि आप यू बिकम मार्केट न्यूट्रल. मार्केट नीचे जाए तब भी मुझे पैसा बनाना है, मार्केट ऊपर जाए मुझे तब भी पैसा बनाना है. तो बेसिक ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ SIF इज जनरेटिंग मोर रिटर्न्स पर यूनिट ऑफ रिस्क टेकन. So you become more risk conscious and you try to become risk controller. So that's another point, another signal कि आप MFD को कब SIF की तरफ जाना चाहिए. Interest in PMS portfolio is fully diversified. Traditional categories में आपका portfolio fully diversified है. अब आपके पास कोई दूसरी जगह नहीं है और ऐसा भी आपके पास में बढ़ गया है. And lastly but not the least, बिहेवियरल पैटर्न इन द पास्ट. अगर आपका इन्वेस्टर जो 10 साल से आपके साथ में है, 5 साल से आपके साथ में है, whenever market falls and they are not worried, they are the right people whom you can pitch SIFs, because they will be the people with huge amount of patience and they are likely to make good returns and good performance in SIF. So these are 6 people whom you can chase, whom you can recommend, or whom you can talk to come to the SIFs.
So Krishan ji, in the current form, SIF mostly resembles long short AIF, आपने भी बताया. लेकिन AIF लॉन्ग शॉट की बात करें तो वो उनको ज़्यादातर आर्बिट्राज प्लस प्लस बोला जाता है इंडस्ट्री में, और 10-12-13% काइंड ऑफ रिटर्न वो लोग जनरेट करते हैं ऐसा AIF वाले. तो
Right.
आपको क्या लगता है कि ये इट मेक सेंस फॉर MFDs?
It makes sense because markets will not perform. Market doesn't give you linear returns, right? So there may be a period. There may be a period, Nishanji, in 10 years period, a 20 years period, 3 or 4 years. There may be a 3 or 4 years when a traditional flexi cap kind of fund will be able to beat SIF. But there are 5-7 other years when traditional SIF, traditional flexi cap may be able to generate you, say, negative returns, or may give you. I'm talking annual returns, or may give you returns less than 4%, 5%. Their SIF will be able to generate good returns for you. So if you look at the volatility, that standard deviation from the average returns, SIF will have a lower return, right? So it may appear that SIF has given you lower returns, but if you look at in totality, in compounding effect, after 15, 20 years, you will see that they will be able to generate more wealth for you. And this is the beauty of structured products.
Okay. So Debashish ji, what kind of training or support will distributors require to effectively understand and recommend SIFs?
Good question, Nishant. First of all, before even for knowledge that is required to distribute, first thing is there is a knowledge or training required to be enabled to qualify to sell or to distribute. That everybody is aware that NISM Series 13, and that effectively speaks about derivatives, long short, and various market neutral strategies, and that will give them a knowledge that they can handle the questions that investors will ask. So let me tell you, let me take this opportunity to also share with our audience that the Wealth Company is planning a massive training program for MFDs on SIF, and we will make it available at almost free type of things. Just intent is to make people, we do not have an SIF, but we want people to go upgrade themselves and be ready for when the opportunity is coming. I take this opportunity just share that. But what training that will be required for them SIP specific training, when we told they should understand the products and the complexities of the product. What are those products? The Kishanji already told. The people already been knowing. If they don't know that market neutrality means when market is rising, you make money in mutual funds type long holding. When market is falling, you sell shares. Even if you do not have, you can borrow it and sell. Stock lending is available and allowed in the Indian market, and you can make money in all conditions of the market. And similarly, on debt you can do, on hybrid you can do. You can also do other quant based algorithm based strategies that need to be understood and told people, and what is that quant, whether that can be back tested, and all these things, that newer way of investment, and the liquidity situation and the other risk involved need to be understood. Then communicating that risk, and there is a training requirement. We call it a difficult conversation. The why something is available or suitable, or something is not suitable. We need to understand ourselves and communicate. That communication training also will be very important for SIF. It's not just NFO आया एप्लीकेशन लिया और भरा और एप्लीकेशन कर दिया, इन्वेस्टमेंट कर दिया. Compliance, regulatory aspects, and documentation requirement will be huge knowledge requirement which can be trained to people. People should voluntarily take that up, and then they will be fit for addressing HNI's questions. And in case of mismatching of the expectations, how to address that, that also can be trained. Basically, it will require a continuous learning platform, because product complexity changing, regulatory aspects changing. So you keep on learning. Trainings are something is available by various fund houses, something you can avail yourself. But this training will give you definitely an higher achievement, higher professionalism levels, which will attract more customers. You will get more revenue, and you will able to sell newer and newer products.
Okay. So we'll take some audience questions. There are a lot of questions. I request everyone to use Q&A box, because chat it gets lost. So I'll start with Nihar's questions. So he says that why would a derivative investor who is looking to earn quick return, why would he invest in SIS?
Because 91% chances is losing money. Why they should come? They are losing money. This what the statistics says, now. Who's making money? You are not here for the sake of excitement. What you want? You want returns or you want excitement? Okay, if you want excitement, and in that case, if you want to lose money, welcome. Go straight to markets and derivatives. No? Okay, this is what we have to understand. This is what we have to explain to the people. That what at the end of the day, what you want? You want to make money. You want to make wealth. Are you making it by going directly? No.
Okay. So Hardik wants to understand whether SIP is possible in SIS.
SIP is possible in SIP. That should be able to. Why it should not be?
10 लाख के बाद अगर आपका हो जाता है टिकट से, then you can start SIPs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I also agree, although it has not yet been stated, but everything that is possible on MF can be possible on SIF, and that is the objective of regulator. That's why they brought in MF platform.
It's a beautiful concept. I don't know why it has not stepped to us earlier. It's a mutual fund. It's a mutual fund with the freedom of AIF and PMS.
Yes, yes.
Super thing. It's a mutual. It's a taxation of MF and return possibilities of AIF.
Yes, yes.
Right. Risk control of AIF. It's a beautiful concept.
And what should be the ideal time horizon for clients? Let's say if equity, long short, hybrid, and debt, what it should be?
What's the time horizon for the mutual funds?
Okay.
Right. That too should be long term. So if anything in equity, it should be long term, long enough, right? This is to create wealth and realize your dreams. For that, you have to come to debt SIFs. You can go for the debt SIFs, or that you have to decide. It's a personal finance. Every individual has to decide. But if you want to create wealth, it has to be a long horizon, no doubt in this.
And then SIF is not a single animal. Under that, there will be very different types of products. So depending upon the product that you are choosing, your horizon, mostly one should make your goal achievement is your horizon. However, depending upon the products, there can be changes that we are not yet discussing, because products have not been launched. Depending upon the product, something can be changed.
Okay. So will there be direct and regular plans both? I think yes, Devashish ji.
I expect so. I expect so, because that is the basic tenets of MF, and SEBI would like to continue that. See, let me tell you, there in the news is there is one big fund house with a collaboration with the foreign partners. They have decided to go only direct. Okay, so that is the AIMS strategy. But so far as MF platforms and SEBI regulation is concerned, both will be enabled. If you want to choose one, you can choose one.
Okay. So how to know the historical performance of SIFs, I mean, in other countries, or how to know this?
One will be, Kisan will reply, but just I'm telling, one will be our present AIFs available, maybe not a very long history, that can give some reference points, or we can also draw reference points from other markets abroad.
Kishan ji, you want to add something?
That's a difficult part of it. But yes, we have to look elsewhere outside of India. But then if you look outside India, that again it will be misleading, because our economic landscape is different and their economic landscape is different. Their cost of capital is different. Our cost of capital is different, right? That's so we cannot compare returns of two different countries. But yes, it has if there is any performance in active management categories, I have seen the niche segment where people are able to create funds from active management is outside the purview of mutual funds. So SIF is one such product. So history suggests that the chances of getting higher returns in SIF is more compared to the traditional mutual funds if the market becomes more and more efficient.
Hmm. Okay. So a
See,
lot of
Sanjay, in traditional mutual fund, where is the freedom for the fund managers to beat the total return index
Hmm.
with expense? Right? Even if you know the stock will do good, you cannot take exposure beyond a point. But this you can do here. And this is what you are in a sectoral fund and you believe that this sector will not perform. You cannot do anything. But SIF you can do. You can go short, right? So that kind of freedom in SIF it comes. So conceptually, yes, it gives you. वो एक चीज बताता हूँ मैं आपको, जब आप पहाड़ पे चढ़ते हैं ना, तो एक आदमी होता है इसका काम है पहाड़ पे चढ़ना, एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ना, एक आदमी होता है शेरपा, है ना, उसका काम होता है इसको पहाड़ पे चढ़ाना भी और ध्यान रखना कि वो नीचे नहीं गिरे, वो SIF है.
great example, Kishan ji. So there are a lot of questions which are related to exam. I'll skip that. Exam is mandatory for everyone, yes, guys. And ARN number is also mandatory. And Devashish ji, can you throw some light on the training program that you mentioned?
Yeah, so for enabling our MFD people to study and pass that NISM 13, Wealth Company will provide training, maybe in different batches, because there will be there will be long demand for these things, and we commit ourselves that we will make MFDs pass this exam by providing them required training. Like first we cover the content, then we'll give them mock test, then we'll tell them which the critical questions what they should attend. So that type of, like NISM 5 also, there are some people are giving training. So NISM 13 Wealth Company is offering to give training. And, watch out, maybe within this week or next week we'll announce that we are welcoming all MFD, irrespective of whether they are crorepati or just starting. All will be invited to take this help from us. This is a small contribution to the MFT's cause from the Wealth Company. And I'm telling it, this is not for any selfish interest, because we do not have any SIF, but we want genuinely that MFDs should go for the excellence and higher level of achievements. That's the reason we are providing this. We'll also cover all these things required: communications, risk assessment type of thing, and we will seek suggestions also from people like Krishanji and all, what should be the content coverage. And of course the NISM 13 also will be fully covered by us. They have to appear in the test on their own, but we'll help them gather the knowledge.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for these words. Because I move with MFDs, I keep meeting them. Every MFD is satisfied thinking that their business is growing. But I know the numbers. As a community, they are not growing, so their contribution is falling. So your support to this community will definitely will help them to grow what they used to, because they are the people who have built these capital markets in India. This is what I feel.
Sure,
I,
sure. This is
I,
a small duty
I started
from our
working
side.
30 years ago. These are the only people who are bringing people to capital markets. Nobody else was there.
absolutely. So one more interesting question has come. So let's say if someone is drafting a plan for an investor, they assume a return, or equity fund, they assume 12 to 15% kind of return while making assumption for retirement planning, children education. But what kind of return they should expect to calculate, I mean, goal planning in SIFs?
See, the problem, Nishanji, is when you look at the return in isolation. See, two returns. One fund has given 12%, other fund also has given 12%. Doesn't mean that their performance same. No, you have to look at the what per unit risk they have taken to generate 12%. So even if I'll say SIF will not be able to give you higher returns, assume that SIF also ends up giving you 12 to 15% return as you assume for equity funds. The per unit risk taken by fund manager will be considerably low compared to the traditional funds. That's for sure. And this is what we need to understand.
Got it, got it. So Deep Modi wants to understand that SIFs can only enhance up to 25%, right? But AIF can hedge up to 100%, and then
Right.
that too by leveraging another 100% as well.
Yes.
So how will
Yes.
it impact?
I will say only one word from Warren Buffett. Derivatives are weapons of mass destruction. Should not be allowed the way you want to use them. Should be used under regulation of watchdog, SEBI. Right? So SEBI controls your derivative exposure in SIF, not in AIF. And this is what we have to understand. Why I believe that SIF is superior to AIF for a very simple reason. आप ध्यान से देखिए निशान जी, बहुत ध्यान से मैं आपको एक बात कहना चाहता हूं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली आज एक हादसा हुआ है, अहमदाबाद में एक प्लेन क्रैश हुआ है. आप जानते हैं प्लेन उड़ता है ना, 4 इंजीनियर्स साइन करके देते हैं इट इज फिट टू फ्लाई. 4 इंजीनियर्स गिव साइन डॉक्यूमेंट इट इज फिट टू फ्लाई. राइट? आप जब घर से कार निकालते हैं आपको कौन सर्टिफिकेट देता है फिट टू राइड? आप कभी देखते हैं क्या कार को? नहीं देखते हैं. एंड दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. चार्टर प्लेन्स के एक्सीडेंट ज्यादा होते हैं, कमर्शियल प्लेन्स के एक्सीडेंट कम होते हैं क्योंकि उसमें रेगुलेशन ज्यादा है. तो एसआईएफ में रेगुलेशन म्यूचुअल फंड का रेगुलेशन है. दो चीजें जो एसआईएफ की सबसे अच्छी है कंपेयर टू एआईएफ, जो एएफ के पास है ही नहीं, एंड डिट कीप्स अपार्ट. वो दो चीजें क्या है? रेगुलेशन एंड टैक्सेशन. सुपीरियर, बोथ आर सुपीरियर कंपेयर टू एआईएफ. और क्या चाहिए?
तो टैक्सेशन इक्विटी का ही लगेगा ना?
म्यूचुअल फंड्स बिल्कुल.
Yeah, I mean equity SIF.
Even if SIF generates 2% less returns than AIF, post-tax return will be same. और क्या चाहिए? With regulation. With regulation, ये ज़्यादा important है.
Okay. So what kind of commission MFDs can expect from SIFs?
वो देवाशीष सर बताएंगे.
So this is my personal expectations. Not, I don't have any knowledge. This all depends upon your business model and your commercials. I expect SIF commissions will be slightly better than mutual fund commissions. I'm drawing a parallel line, just like I told that this is in between. This is a mid-tier. I know what is AIF paying, what is MF paying. So this is in between. So the payments also will be in between.
Okay.
But expenses would also be in line with the mutual funds only, right? 2.25 the maximum. Would it?
I think that will be the on lines of mutual funds only. As the EM grows, it will start coming down.
Got it.
वो तो सेबी को सबसे प्यारा चीज है.
So Sandeep wants to understand whether someone has to invest the entire 10 lakh or the investment can be paid in tranches. So I think
10 lakhs. You have.
But as
first time it has to be 10 lakh. It can be on 5 products. It can, yeah.
What into 5-7 products?
10 lakh each fund house, and Krishan has said that if 7 funds has launched by the same company, you can spread it among 7 funds. The 10 lakh.
Yes. That's also.
Is there any minimum period to that investors should stay invested in SIFs?
There's no minimum period, but redemptions will be decided by AMC only. It's not automatic redemptions on a daily basis. That will not happen.
See, objective of our this webinar is to make people be aware such a beautiful product category is coming, and people should not close their eye. They should open their eye for that and get attracted towards that. See, the questions that are now coming about product specific will depend upon reading the SID as documents of that product, and then we'll be able to tell. We are talking about the category, the new segment overall. Okay, so answering that may not be true. It's just indicative. It could
different
be
for all funds, different
yeah,
for all.
different.
Yeah, बिल्कुल ठीक.
Okay. Krishanji, SIF can be very complex, right?
Yeah.
How can MFDs simplify this product for their clients in such a scenario?
SIP,
SIFs are very complex product.
SIF is not complex. They will not be complex.
Mm.
It's not complex. It's only a decision. Decision means that while leaving home in a month of July and August, you don't speculate whether it will rain or not. You take umbrella with you. If it rains, I have umbrella. That's all. There is no complexities. There is a willingness to be prepared for both kind of scenarios, whether the market rise, whether the market fall. Right? You have to prepare. And since you are prepared and you are taking exposure in two different ways, that's why it appears complex. Right? So normally,
and another thing, any
market. Normally, when a person invests in markets, he has one line of thinking that markets will rise. ईशान जी, आपने कभी चेक काटा है इन्वेस्टमेंट में, तो आप क्या सोच रहे थे कि मार्केट बढ़ेगा कि गिरेगा, बताइए. कभी आपने पैसा डाला ये सोच के कि मार्केट गिरेगा, तो यहाँ पैसा डालते वक्त ये भी सोच रहे हैं कि मार्केट गिरेगा.
तब भी पैसा कमाएंगे.
That's make it complex. It's not complex. It's preparedness.
So your question is how they simplify. Clarity of knowledge of self is actually the tool for simplifying.
Yes,
So
yes.
अगर वो खुद समझ जाएंगे तो समझा देंगे. तो कोई भी concept you should be able to make it understand by a 6th grade per student. तो उसके लिए ट्रेनिंग ले लो, पूछो, पढ़ो and get yourself knowledge so that you can simplify. Give example.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं सर. अगर आप क्लाइंट को नहीं समझा पा रहे हैं तो आपको समझ में नहीं आया. It's a clear indication.
Okay, so how different are three types of equity SIFs? What are the difference between them?
Very hard, no difference at all. You take it as a flexi cap fund, you take it as a mid cap fund, you take it as a thematic fund, right? A flexi cap fund is a only long fund. मार्केट बढ़ेगा तो आपको रिटर्न मिलेगा, मार्केट गिरेगा तो आपको रिटर्न कम मिलेगा. फंड मैनेजर को अल्फा क्रिएट करना है. अल्फा क्रिएट करने का मतलब क्या है? मार्केट 10% बढ़ता है तो फंड मैनेजर बोलेगा मैंने 12% को बढ़ाया है, और मार्केट 10% गिरता है तो फंड मैनेजर बोलेगा मैंने 8% को गिराया है, तो मैंने अच्छा काम किया है, अल्फा को जनरेट किया. The case of SIF, it is flexi cap plus derivatives, long short also, right? शॉर्ट ऑल्सो मतलब अगर आपको लगता है कि 6 महीने बाजार नहीं कर रहा है, जैसे सितंबर में ट्रम्प जीत के आए, जैसे ही ट्रम्प जीत के आए आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. SIF वाला अगर ट्रम्प जीत के आए हैं 25% एक्सपोजर ले सकता है अनहेज्ड. ही कैन सेल ऑल्सो, राइट, एंड कैन प्रोटेक्ट योर फॉल. So this is what in flexi cap he can do. So the three categories is, one is flexi cap plus derivatives, second is mid cap small cap plus derivatives, third is sectoral plus derivatives. There are three categories.
Got it.
बहुत ज़्यादा confusion के चक्कर नहीं है उसमें.
That we do not have much time left, I'll ask one final question to both of you. So Krishanji, for you, where do SIF fit into clients' investment portfolio?
SIF fits into once the client achieves a threshold wealth in his portfolios, has been investing in mutual funds for last 5, 7, 10, 15 years, have accumulated some funds, and now wants to diversify, is chased by PMS, AIF, and bankers, right? Is a person who is become more active as far as the alpha generation is concerned, is a person who wants to create wealth, at the same time wants to protect his wealth. He is the right candidate to whom you can pitch the SIF.
Got it. Devashish ji, what are the three things every MFD should know before recommending SIFs to their clients?
Number one is you should understand that not every client is ready. You assess their risk tolerance, portfolios, existing portfolio size, and what investment experience they had earlier. So client suitability is the key knowledge that they should have. Number one. Number two is, these products are complex or simple, whatever you call this. So it is considered as a little more complex than mutual fund products. So, and SIF may underperform also. So behave expectedly. People will behave in different manner if they come to know that this is higher risk and all. So you should have the knowledge of risk assessment and product complexities. Third thing is, you should know is regulatory and compliance requirements, documentation requirement, and for that a very rigid regime you should prepare for yourself and ask investors to comply.
Got it. So, all right, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Krishan ji and Devashish ji, for such an insightful session.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure with Kishanji and with
Thank you.
investors at the audience, our MFDs as the audience. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Nishan.
sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Cafe Mutual and Nishan ji, for this opportunity. Thank you. It was a nice meeting. Thank you. Jai Hind.
We have received a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we could not answer each one of it, but I'm sure that Wealth Company will reach out to you and address all your queries. And Devashish ji, if you can mention that how MFDs can reach out to you for the training, that would be great. Any
Okay.
email ID, phone number of Wealth Company?
Yeah. So my name devasis.mohanty at wealthcompany.in. That is one address. Otherwise, just watch out. We'll make a press release next week about this, and we'll announce that through Cafe Mutual.
Cafe Mutual only. Great, great, great.
Right.
So do read Cafe Mutual to know
Yeah.
more about it.
Yeah.
I thank each one of you for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day at work, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you.